So, yes, Peter asked me to give a talk with a positive vibe so that we all leave this room a bit happier and a bit more optimistic. And I'm going to talk to you instead about why freedom is losing, and I'm going to get us all depressed. No, I'm going to get to the positive part, but let's have some reality check here. The mere fact that Free Cities Foundation exists, and it has these very interesting projects in places out there, it means that over here, we who care about freedom, the freedom movement, we are losing the battle of ideas here. This is why we have to find these outposts in these places over there. And this should not be the case. I mean, if you think what is the raw material that we have, the ideas of freedom, we should not be losing. Our ideas, the ideas of freedom, the ideas of reason, the ideas of capitalism, have given humanity its best days. Our ideas literally took humanity from the mud and elevated it to the skyscrapers. Our ideas took humanity to space, and we're just beginning. And yet we're losing. And yet our ideas are so unpopular that you guys have to try to go to places like Honduras. And again, I really hope it works, but this is a sign that we need to do something more here. We need to fight this battle a bit harder. And here's what makes me even more angry. Who are we losing to? Are we losing to people who also have great, inspiring ideas? Like, we want flying cars. What do they want? Most of our intellectual opponents, not only they don't want flying cars, they want to take away your current car. I mean, forget your car. They want to take away your plastic straw. And we're losing from these people. Like, this makes me angry. But it doesn't have to be this way. See, Peter, here comes the positive message. It shouldn't be this way, and it doesn't have to be this way. There are some particular reasons why freedom is losing, and we can fix it. But notice how sometimes even ourselves, those of us who appreciate freedom, sometimes we don't appreciate it strongly enough. Sometimes even we forget how awesome and how precious freedom is. And let me give you an example. Usually when it comes to defending freedom, what is the argument that we give? What is the argument that we give in order to defend capitalism? Well, the argument is a variation of capitalism delivers the goods. Freedom works. And we saw these graphs, you know, the reverse hockey stick on how since the Industrial Revolution, since capitalism, we have more stuff. And this is true and this is great. But the stuff that something works is not enough to light a fire in the hearts of people. I mean, in my hotel, the plumbing of the shower was working. It didn't get me too excited. And this brings us then to the question of, is it only this that why freedom is important? But actually, freedom is more special than just delivering the goods. Because these dry numbers are missing something. They are missing what freedom is doing for each one of us. What freedom is doing for you, for your own life. It is also missing how a unique phenomenon in the history of humanity freedom is. Think about it. We live during the 0.1% period where people can have some freedom. And with this tiny amount of freedom, we've had these great results. Why is that? It's because freedom has done something historical. It has liberated the creative potential of billions of people. Freedom has unleashed the human mind. And the human mind, when it is unleashed, when it is freed, it creates wonders. And we all benefit from these wonders. And one of the most important things that we often forget is that a free society, a capitalist society, literally adds life to our life. How does it do this? It saves us time. And time is all we have. All these gadgets, things like your fridge, your car, your washing machine, I mean, we take them for granted. But think about how much time they liberate for you to do things that are more meaningful to you, to enjoy the creations of other people, art, literature, whatever. I mean, the mere fact that you have hobbies. People, there are no hobbies in an unfree society. There were no hobbies before capitalism came around. But even more important than the fact that freedom allows us to enjoy the creative endeavors of other people is that on a more personal level, for each one of us, freedom allows us to be the best version of ourselves. Freedom allows us to do the things that really make us who we are. There is nothing in life which is worth pursuing. There is nothing in life which is beautiful and precious, which does not need freedom. Think about something like romantic love. Now, normally, you wouldn't associate freedom with romantic love, but how would love look in a society without freedom? I mean, you don't have to think about it. It actually happens. Imagine being a woman in a theocratic society where you're forced in an arranged marriage, or you can't leave the house, or you can't divorce your husband. Or imagine being a gay person in Iran. Like this most beautiful and elevating feeling of romantic love, you cannot experience it. Or think about art. Imagine you have this opera inside you. You have this great creation, this book, this poetry inside you. And imagine have to go through a censor in order to give this gift to the world. And you could say, okay, but these are examples from dictatorships. We here, we are good. Well, what about the other type of artists, the entrepreneurs in our society? They create these brilliant things, and they have to go through a regulator. In order to see their creation come alive, they have to go through bureaucrats who have never created anything. Or think about a scientist who might have come with a life-saving medicine or a formula that will allow us to live much, 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 much longer. And again, they have to jump through hoops, put there by people who cannot run a candy store. So everything in life, for everything in life which is worth pursuing, freedom is a necessary condition. So to answer the question, what do we need freedom for? Well, it's simple. We need freedom to pursue our happiness. But here comes the implications. This means that freedom is good if and only if the pursuit of our happiness is good. Your freedom matters if and only if your life matters. And here is the triumph of the enemies of freedom. They have persuaded many people that things like caring too much about your own happiness or taking your life too seriously, they've persuaded us that this is a bad thing, that this is going to make you a bad person. This is going to make you selfish, whatever that means. Instead, they give us a different ideal, and it is the ideal of sacrifice. Don't pursue your happiness, sacrifice for something. What is this something? Doesn't matter, we'll find something. It can be the proletariat, it can be your nation, it can be the poor, it can be the white race, the refugees, the polar bears. Doesn't matter, as long as you sacrifice. And they've persuaded everyone that this is the good. So this creates the following result, which is disastrous for the ideas that we value, the ideas of freedom. They put the good over here, sacrifice, and freedom over here. And some of them actually accept, yeah, you know, freedom indeed works, but freedom is here and the good is here. And therefore, people who want to be good, because everyone wants to be good, they say, okay, then maybe freedom indeed is not so important. Maybe freedom is not so precious after all, because it prevents me from being a good person. And you know what's even more tragic? Many of us in the freedom movement are buying into this. We're buying into this moral blackmail. And this is why what we do then is we try to legitimize freedom, we try to justify freedom based on a morality which is the morality of the enemies of freedom. I mean, some of you are in tech. You cannot run a superior product with an inferior software. You cannot run the software of freedom with the philosophy and the ethics of the enemies of freedom. And then we say things such as, almost apologetically, freedom is the best way to serve others. Sorry, but no. Servitude is the best way to serve others, if you are serious about your servitude. Slavery is the best way to serve others. If my role in this world is to be a sacrificial animal, if my role in this world is to serve others, I don't need freedom. I need a central planner to tell me who to sacrifice for. I need a Putin, or I need a central bureaucrat. I need someone to tell me for whom to live. Freedom needs something else. Freedom needs people who have the pride and the confidence to say, no, my life is mine. I have one life in this world. I didn't exist for billions of years. I'm not going to exist for billions of years. I'm here for a short period of time. Hope it's going to get longer, but a short period. I'm going to make it count. It's my life. This is the only morality, the only vision of the good which is compatible with freedom. So, at the end of the day, the only way for freedom to matter is for my life to matter and for the pursuit of my happiness to matter. And this is what freedom needs. It does not only need these very interesting experiments like the free cities, and again, I appreciate it. I wish you all the best. I'm rooting for you. But freedom also needs something else. It needs a vision of what the good is, because this is how we inspire people. We cannot inspire people if we don't have an inspiring vision ourselves. First of all, if we're not committed that what we're doing does not just work, but it is actually good. It is actually moral. It is actually something which is worth pursuing. So freedom needs its own morality. And the good news is that this morality already exists. Actually, Ayn Rand came with such a moral code. Moral code sounds very abstract. With such a vision of the good. She came with a vision that your life is yours, and your happiness is something that should be sacred in you. And this is why she was the best defender of freedom and of capitalism. You cannot have the one without the other. You cannot appreciate freedom if you don't appreciate your life and your happiness. Because that's the only reason why you need freedom for. To make your life meaningful. First of all, to discover what will make your life meaningful. And then to act on it. And also, Ayn Rand was the only person who people like you, producers, engineers, architects, scientists, creators, that she actually celebrated you. And didn't do you the disservice to just tell you, well, you guys do things that kind of work. You are the doers. You are efficacious. And leave it there. No. She also said something else, that you, the doers, the creators, you are good. You are virtuous. What you're doing is heroic. Because at the end of the day, this is what freedom is all about. To make your life something which is important. For you to be the hero of your own life. That's what freedom is for. Thank you very much. Thank you. I see we have 2.5 minutes for questions. The time is...
What is the book you recommend from Ayn?
The book I would recommend is Atlas Shrugged, because it does one simple thing. It shows how important all of you are, the people of the mind, the people who make things happen. Most people will read Atlas Shrugged and will say, well, this is a defense of capitalism. At some point it is. But mostly it's not that. It is that you, the people who think, you, the people who create stuff, you are the giants that literally hold the earth. So this is why I would recommend it. Some people say it's a bit long. I mean, buy it in Kindle. You won't even notice how long it is. So yeah, definitely Atlas Shrugged, yes.
Could you please tell me, is there some kind of successful project that is getting it closer to freedom, started by Ayn Rand Institute members, or is there something practical?
No, our focus is, there's some division of labor. So that's why I said I very much respect what you people are doing. But our focus is different. Our focus is more like fighting in the trenches of ideas, trying to change the culture out there, trying to make the culture more hospitable to you people, to the people who create stuff. And most importantly, get rid of this poison which says that, well, your life doesn't really matter and your life gets value when you sacrifice for something bigger. Imagine where the world would be if this poison wasn't there. Imagine Putin trying to mobilize forces and trying to mobilize people who would say, no, why would I die for Mother Russia or for any other nation that I don't agree with its values? My life is mine. This would literally inoculate you from any tyranny. Our work after that would be much, much easier if we wanted freedom to triumph. But thank you. Okay, I see we're out of time. Thank you very much. Thank you.